Good to be with you. Have the privilege of being a manager here at Cardno's Native Plant Nursery. We've been here for about 26 years. We're in northern Indiana. We provide plant material and seed for restoration projects throughout the Midwest. Over the last number of years, there's been a big emphasis on helping pollinators, and also the monarch butterfly. We kind of take a look at that as almost being the same situation where you're looking to provide diverse plants, diverse species, and more habitat so that they have food sources for these animals. Recently, the solar situation has become more relevant, where there's solar installations that are going on now that range from small as 2 to 3 acres to as large as thousands of acres. So what we've tried to determine, especially on some of these larger sites where there's a lot of variables that go into this. One thing that needs to be understood is that a solar site installation is not a restoration. It's two totally different things. So you look to, just like the engineers take a look at the topography of a site and try to figure out what's the best thing to use, angle-wise, which way's appropriate to get the most energy from the sun. The same thing's true with engineering a seed mix that's going to work for underneath these solar panels. And there's a lot of different variables that play into this. And again, this isn't a full-blown restoration. This is what you're trying to figure out as to how to get the right vegetation under these panels. They're going to meet a lot of different specific needs. And some of these needs they have to be low profile. If they're deep-rooted and can take in some storm water, that would be fantastic. If they can pull in a little carbon too at the same time, some carbon sequestering, that would be great. But they have to be shade tolerant. It has to be at low maintenance so that this thing doesn't turn into a maintenance nightmare, 3, 4, 5 years down the road. These sites are going to be around for 20 or 30 years. And maintenance is critical on what it costs to maintain these sites. So again, you're looking at low profile, has to be able to handle shade, has to be able to provide something from pollinators, and do some carbon sequestering, potentially handle some storm water. Also has to be able to have quick coverage to avoid erosion. And then, oh, by the way, it's got to be fairly inexpensive because you're doing thousands of acres. So, and it's got to be available too. The species that are out there, you can't spec something and then somebody needs 1,000 acres worth and it's not there. So what we've done here at Cardno is we've teamed up with our folks on staff that have 20 plus years of experience in dealing with native plants. We've teamed up with the Purdue turf specialists down there and picked their brain and had discussions with them and meetings with them as to determine, what's the best kind of low-growing, non-native species that would fill in quickly and are low maintenance and can handle that situation. We've also teamed with some of the large seed suppliers out there that deal with agricultural seed and cover crops and things along that line, and got their thoughts on, number one, availability of a lot of this product, and number two, what works and what's going to be there for the long term. So when you put all that together, we've designed some seed mixes that we've put together that we think can handle situations for under the panels, between the panels, and then adjoining or some of the surrounding areas around the panels. So I think there's an opportunity here to provide all of that, but it's going to take some engineering. Every site's a little different, so you got to go back and you got to make sure that, number one, somebody looks at the site, what's your soil conditions, what kind of seed bank do you have there, what was there before the panels were there, do you need to fertilize this site? What kind of weed pressures are you going to have from surrounding areas, trees and different things that might blow in there? And then somebody needs to take a look at this site probably a couple times a year to determine what's the next plan for maintenance, because there will be some maintenance. You can't take anything that's bigger than 2 by 2 and not have some sort of maintenance if you want this thing to work for you.